Oh,
So episode
St.
52, bro.
Louis. 52, bro.
Episode 52, man. 1 year in, 1 year
You know what I'm
anniversary show,
saying?
really, right?
It's real. It's real. Hey,
So we'll kick it
yeah,
off,
what's
man.
up,
It's your
good
boy
people?
E
It's your boy
Double.
Lavelle. And like he just said, episode 52, last episode of the year. We've been doing this thing for 52 weeks now.
Really longer.
Yeah,
Because
you're
we
right.
had
You're
to
right.
plan
You're
for
right.
weeks before,
Yeah.
but 50, but a year of
It's been fun. It's
episodes,
been
you
fun.
know.
Like we said last week, certainly appreciate everybody who tunes in, everybody who, catches the recaps, goes back and listens to the lives. Certainly do appreciate it. Eric and I have enjoyed this opportunity to present content to you all every week. Hopefully you all have benefited from it. We've gotten a lot of feedback, a lot of encouragement, and man, we're just going to keep progressing, keep finding out new ways to position content, because that's the goal. You know what I'm saying? To inform, to impact, to influence, and do it in our own way. Do it in the keep it thorough way. You know what I'm saying? So we appreciate you all sincerely. And yeah, man, this is gonna be a good episode. Good episode, a lot of great content to discuss. And so yeah, bro, let's do it.
Hey, well, let's go and get into it, man. So 2023 planning session, year-end wrap up. So for those who tune in, go back and watch it. This is gonna be our last episode for the year, right? We're gonna take the next 2 weeks off. It only makes sense, right? We're gonna wrap up what we consider to be season one. 52 weeks, and then first week of January, first Thursday of January, we right back at it, right? With season two. So year-end wrap up. So how did it go, right? So we really want to just take an opportunity and reflect back on how the year went, right? So I'm gonna let Seg go ahead, and then
No
I'll
doubt,
touch
man.
base and
So
give my input.
obviously end of the year, a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings, I believe, come at the end of the year, because it gives you time to really just reflect on things that happened in the previous month. If you're an individual who likes to write goals down, you look at your goals and see how much you've achieved over time. You just really just kind of go back and see the progress or the lack thereof, right? And so when it comes to approaching the new year, and going into it, obviously, as you transition, you want to get rid of certain things that you may have done in the current year that didn't work for you, or you want to continue to build on some of the good habits that you set in this year, and you want to just translate those over to the next year, right? And so really just having a clear focus and a broader perspective is what you get when it comes to the end of the year. And I'll say, for me personally, you know what I'm saying, with my expectations and the standards that I set for myself, if I had to scale my year from a 1 to 10, I would give it maybe a 5.5 or 6. If I'm being all the way real. I feel like there were times where I could have been more consistent. There were times where, I allowed, I guess you could say, I allowed my feelings to kind of influence my behaviors. When I'm tired, just didn't feel like it, didn't have that motivation that I needed, that drive that I needed to keep myself going, or to put in that extra bit of effort, that extra bit of work. So I know going into 2023, I definitely have to challenge myself and be more relentless. And we'll get into that word later on in the episode. But really be more focused. You know what I'm saying? Be more willing to be challenged and overcome those challenges, right? And we're all human. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody who is pursuing something or wants to achieve something, man, there's going to be times where you challenge, or where your energy is not there, or that motivation is not there, that gear that you want to just kind of kick in, it ain't kicking. You know what I'm saying? And so So really, when you go through the whole year and you get to the ending part of the year, like right now it's the 15th. We got what, about 16 more days left in the year, right? And so, it
Yeah.
really gives you an opportunity to kind of, just reflect, think about the year, think about certain things that you could have done better, think about certain areas where you want to improve upon, and really just do better going into the next year, right? Make it very progressive. Like right now, I'm reading this book called Power of Moments, and they speak about how there's certain moments in everyone's life, whether it be birthdays, whether it be holidays, a new week or a new month, whatever the case may be, where it just creates a moment. And a lot of times people can really get invested into those moments. And when you get invested into the moment, in many cases, well, I say many, in some cases, you have the motivation to really take advantage of it. And whatever it is that you want to do, you allow that energy to kind of just flow into whatever transition you're making. So end of the year, you know what I'm saying? It's the last month of the year, going into a new year. It's like, man, how can you take advantage of this moment? You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you take advantage of the month that you're in, knowing this is the last month until you go into the new year? And how can you allow everything that you've learned along the way to go into the following year, to the next year? You know what I'm saying? So that's how my year went, and my feelings right now. I'm excited about the new year coming up. Some of the goals that I wanted to hit this year, I didn't get them, but I know now what specifically I need to do in order to achieve those things. You know what I'm saying? And so really it just gives me another sense of confidence and some clarity on how I can go about executing a lot better 2023. You know what I'm saying?
2023. MJ year, right? So to pick up on what you were saying, when I look back through this past year, right, I'm gonna break it down like a scorecard, right? So like what the various things that I wanted to accomplish, right? So one of which I started this at the end of last year,
Right.
was to read one book a month, right? Which I couldn't even tell you how many books I read in my lifetime up until that point where I decided to do that. But I'm pretty sure that I've read the most books that I've ever read in a year this year, right? And besides when I was a kid, and I probably read little children's books that was 10 pages or something. No, you know what I mean? Those don't count.
Yeah.
But I'm 10 books right now. I did not hit my goal of one per month. I'm on my 10th book now, and I've actually paused because I'm going back through the books that I've already read and writing down some of the notes and things that I, highlighted in those books. So I won't. So I would grade myself on that. I would give myself a 8 out of 10, right? Did very well, read a lot of them, was doing a good job sticking to it, but definitely hit some hurdles and could have did better, right? Another area that I wanted to do this year, something I was focused on, was real estate. I wanted to get my first investment property. And I actually had set out last year to do that at the beginning of this year, where the economy was crazy. I felt like I didn't have enough information and knowledge, which is what kind of prompted me to start reading more and, looking for more information. And I don't got that rental property. But what I learned through the year and through my readings was, the importance of really doing my due diligence. You know what I mean? And really, finding a solid CPA that has the necessary real estate knowledge with, the various tax breaks and deductions and things. Really understanding, the correct entities to use, right? And just not, a LLC, but, maybe getting the LLC in a different state that has stronger liability protections. It's just various different things that I learned throughout the year that kind of slowed that down. So I don't look at it as a failure though, right? I had to pivot and make an adjustment. But even in that area, I probably do the same, say about a 7, maybe 8 out of 10. Working out, I wanted to work out. I feel like I did a very good job. Lost 35 pounds. You know what I mean? At my peak, I'm not down 35 pounds.
35 pounds, man.
Yeah, yeah, right. So, but even in that regard, I didn't do fully what I was expecting and set out to do, right? Like, I
What
wanted
up, T?
to,
What
which
up,
main goal
Tigo?
wasn't a weight goal. It
Yeah,
was a physique goal. You know what I mean? What's good with it, T? So was focused on that. I would say in that regard, I didn't
yeah.
adjust my diet like I wanted to and my water intake, right? Like I know me and you both said. And matter of fact, if y'all go to the earlier episodes this
Jugs
year,
of
y'all
water.
probably
Yeah.
see both of us with water jugs.
Boys, and got to episode 52. Don't even
You
see
know what
no
I'm saying?
jug.
We was drinking, right, got the shit,
Yeah,
probably got the episode 23 and them jugs was gone. You know what I mean? But getting back on that water intake. So, I would
yeah,
probably grade my fitness about a 7, you know what I mean? But all in all, if I look back through the year, like career wise, just everything summed up, I'll probably give myself about a 7,
yeah.
maybe 7.5, you know what I mean? Not to say that was a bad year. And if I'm being blunt, right? A 7.5 for me and said honestly could be like
I wasn't gonna
a
say
9
yeah,
or
yeah, you're
10
right. It is.
to
It is. You know what I'm saying? It is.
you know what I mean? So, just
Right.
just
It's
just because
different.
of accountability and the
Absolutely.
things that we hold ourselves to. But as you mentioned, man, this is the end of the year, right? Our last episode of the year. Take 2-week break and really celebrate our successes with this platform that we created, that we are creating, what it's evolving into. I'm very excited about all the things that we got that are coming forward, and just for everybody really to take a second and reflect. I've never been a real big like
Yeah.
New Year's resolution type person, right? Like I've never been like, and we talked about this last year when around this time we were starting. Like I don't believe you gotta wait to the end of the year to the
Nah.
new year to start for you to change habits and behaviors and do things, right? And a prime example of that is us with this show. We started this show this time last year. We could have easily said, let's wait until the beginning of the year. You know what I mean? But no, we got a good
Yeah.
idea. If we can get it going, let's get it out and do it as quickly as possible, right? But for everybody to look back and reflect, what did you do well? What were areas that you struggled? What is something that you learned? What is something
Right.
that you want to learn more of? You know what I mean? And really make adjustments and write those goals down. But yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna leave
So
it there, said
so
let you hit
last
the
thing.
what to know, and
So
then we
what
can
to
move to the
know
next
as it
segment.
relates to your 2023 planning session and going into 2023. So as the year ends, one thing you want to know is that the year is going to bring clarity, right? We was kind of just saying that after you didn't went through all the 11 months, you've had all these different experiences, you've learned some things, or at least you should have learned some things, right? You've learned some things, you've experienced some things. You bumped your head a couple of times, you had some wins, you had some losses, right? But if you're really just evaluating and assessing everything, it's going to give you some clarity. It's going to show you where your weak spots are at. It's going to show you where your strengths are at, right? It's going to show you the people that you want to keep in your circle, who you want to surround yourself with. So it really gives you a better perspective on how you want to go into this new year with a clear mindset, but absolutely with a better supporting cast. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's from people or whether that's with resources and any other additional tools that you can leverage and use and take into the new year, right? Next thing is the end of the year brings closure. Now, obviously, it's the last month of the year, so you're going into a new year, but also it allows you to rid yourself of things that didn't serve you well, right? It allows you to close the chapter on many things that hindered you from really being the best version of yourself, or from achieving the goals that you wanted to achieve, or being the person that you wanted to become. Whatever it is, whatever your goals were, or whatever it was that you were looking to do as you progress through the year, when it comes to the end, that's your closure. You get to close the chapter on 2022 and just focus on what it is that you want to do in 2023 that's going to make you better, that's going to improve, that's going to allow you to progress towards better, to be beneficial, right? And then the last one is at the end of the year, you have confidence. And just as I was saying in the beginning, with clarity, it gives you a better perspective, and it allows you to see certain things that you may have not seen in the beginning. Once you know more about yourself, once you know more about your efforts, how much you're willing to do, how far you're willing to go, what you're looking to sacrifice, how motivated you really are. And again, this is if you're looking at the year and you're evaluating it. Now, a lot of people go into a year no goals, no purpose, no vision. They're just going through the motion. You know what I'm saying? And so me saying this may not, they may not be able to relate to that. But if you're the type of person that's looking to progress every day, right? If you're the type of person that's goal oriented or value focused, and you really wanted to improve yourself and your family and whoever your friends or whatever the case may be, your circle, you're going to look back over the year and say, okay, what did I win? What did I lose? What did I mess up at? What did I not do right? And once you get those answers, I feel like that just gives you a different level of confidence, right? Because it's like, okay, I got the answers that I need. So this is the year that I can really execute. Now it's upon you, you know what I'm saying, to put in the work and put in the necessary energy and effort to do the work. But if you got the answers, you know what I'm saying, if you know what you need to do, do it. You know what I'm saying? Put the things in place, make certain things happen, and make the following year the best year ever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, absolutely, bro. So this next segment, man, is actually kind of dope. So y'all know we've been doing this for a year. 52 weeks, 52 different episodes, 52 different topics, right? And so this next episode, the next segment, I mean, is takeaways of 2022. And what me and Said did is we went back through the list of all of the episodes and selected, you know, like 3 of our favorite, right? And it was really kind of hard to select just 3, to be honest. Because as I look through, you know, just the titles and the things that we discussed, man, we really had some very good episodes and a lot of very good and beneficial content. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go ahead and go through my top 3 or
Yeah.
3 of my favorite. I'm not gonna say my top 3, and in no particular order. And then why, you know, it's one of my tops, right? So first one is episode 2, which was our very first Money Matters episode. And for y'all, you know, maybe not familiar, every month we try to do a Money Matters episode, right? Where we focus on something money related, whether it's, you know, credit, investing, saving, budgeting, like whatever the case may be, just something money related, right? And our very first one was focused on credit. And you know, so to understand credit is to understand leverage. When creating passive income opportunities and creating generational wealth, credit is a very important piece. And like in that episode, we went over, you know, the 3 credit bureaus, you know what I mean? Equifax, Experian, TransUnion. We went over the various different types of credit scores, you know, whether it's your Vantage or credit scoring models, right? Like your FICO score and your Vantage score and the differences between them and what, you know, most lenders are using, which is your FICO score. And the reason that was important to me is, you know, growing up and you know, coming up how I came up, and I'm pretty sure how Said came up, I don't think, I know credit isn't taught in the importance of understanding credit. And I know like a lot of, you know, older, you know, males that were in my life, they were all cash this, cash that, cash is king, right? But the reality is when it comes to businesses and growing businesses, with cash, you can only go so far, right? With credit, you have leverage, you have access to more capital, which allows you to invest and multiply faster than you can do with just the cash that you have, right? And a lot of people don't understand that concept. But going over credit, I think, was very important and why it was one of my favorite, you know, one of my favorite episodes. Next on the list was episode 4, which was setting expectations. And when finding your purpose and passion and living within those things, it requires discipline. And setting the proper expectations for you and those around you allows you to be accountable as well as successful, right? And in that episode, we spoke about the importance of, you know, setting expectations not only for yourself but those around you, right? And what you're willing to tolerate, right? And that means a lot because you can be easily distracted, right? If you don't have goals and the right amount of discipline and, you know, expectations set for yourself, right? They say, you know, stand for something or fall for anything, right? And when it comes to setting expectations, if you're working towards a purpose and a passion, you have to have a rule book of sorts, right? Or something that you're following, right? And you have to be able to stick to that. And then those around you, you got to hold them to those same standards, right? If your homeboy always played a video game every night and you want to go, read or something, and he always hits you with the,
Right.
just one more game, bro. That's not, you got to set the expectation. Like, look, bro, at 9 o'clock, I'm done. I'm going to go do this, bro. You do that, but the importance of setting expectations for yourself as
Right.
well as your kids, raising the bar. You know what I mean? Like, you did this and now your kids has to do this. Let's raise the bar, not just accepting the status quo and the bare minimums, right? So that's why that was an important episode to me. And then another one of my favorite episodes of 2023 was episode 49, which we just did, a few weeks back, and it was leading with gratitude. And I'm gonna be honest, man, like when we do these episodes, they're impactful for us as well. You know what I'm saying? Like we learn things, and in that episode, I learned some things about myself, right? And as simple as a word, seriously, you know what I mean? But as simple as a word as gratitude is, what it really means, right? And leading with gratitude is a lifestyle. Having a more optimistic view of your life and an appreciation for the small things improves your outlook. And that's important for your confidence. That's important for your attitude. That's important for when you out and about, leading with gratitude creates better friendships, opportunities for business deals and certain things, right? Just having a more positive outlook and not focusing on the negative, right? So, and that doesn't mean being this over the top, cheesy, happy person all the time. That's not what I mean, right? Being genuine, but finding the good instead of focusing on the bad, right? It's easy for us to focus on the bad and make excuses. It's a little harder to be like, I'm gonna focus on these positives. I do this, and this very well. I need to learn here. Let me, Let me focus on that, but leading with gratitude was another very important episode for me and had a lot of impact on me directly, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and pass it to Sed and let him give y'all history.
Actually, episode 1, building momentum, right? That was the first episode that Eric and I did. It was around this time, obviously, so we set the tone for how we were looking to go into the new year, and we built momentum. You know what I'm saying? We were able to exercise that particular episode and put it into action with what we did with this particular live stream. You know what I'm saying? With the consistency that we had, the continued content, the page having consistent content on there as well too. So we really built momentum to get to this point. And 2023 is definitely going to be another step that we're going to take with leveraging and building this brand. So you all stay tuned for that. But episode 1 was building momentum. One of the key things that we talked about in that particular episode was that to build momentum, it took positive, progressive, and persistent thinking, right? And so with staying positive, obviously, that's really taking the right mindset and the right approach as it relates to momentum. How are you thinking about it? What's on your mind? Are you being someone who's being negative about, the progress that you're looking to make? Or are you being positive? Are you focusing on the things that's really going to benefit you and allow you to move forward, right? And so that's being positive. The next one was progressive. So always thinking forward, always thinking about what your next move is, always thinking about how is it that you can progress and make your next move the best move, as they would say, or how you can put your best foot forward and really just build off of those wins, right? And so anytime that you're building momentum, it's really about when you're really building off your wins and your losses, right? Because when you lose, you learn something. And when you're winning, you just kind of compound with that, right? And so if you want to be progressive and be progressive in your thinking, you want to look at your wins and losses and understand how those things can shape and model your behaviors and your habits. And you want to keep building off of that. And the last one was just being persistent. And really, that's just taking the time to not allow certain things to hinder you or cause you to doubt or be fearful, but really just focusing on the goal, the end goal, and staying committed to it, staying disciplined through the process, staying focused on it, and not allowing outside distractions to interfere, right? Because anytime that you allow outside distractions to interfere and come in between you and your goal, that's going to knock you off your momentum. You're not going to be able to build your momentum. And I can, like I said, take what we've done through the year with Keep It Thorough. Obviously, Eric and I both, we have kids, we have wives, we have lives, we have other additional things that go on in our lives. You know, Eric was sick a couple of times. You know, so many different things that occurred as we were moving forward with this vision, right? But we never allowed any of those things to stop us. We never allowed those things to deter us. We had a conversation, figured out what the best move was positive about everything, right? We were progressive, but we were also persistent through that process as well too, which has led us to where we are right now, and also have a vision to what we want to do moving forward, right? The next one was episode 40, finding your motivation, right? And so with finding your motivation, that was all about choosing the right source is what influences the effectiveness of your motivation. And so within that episode, we really focus on what's your source, right? Like what motivates you? What keeps you inspired? What keeps you engaged? What keeps you locked in on your goals, on your visions, on your aspirations? Like what is that thing that pushes you forward? And that motivation can be from a multitude of different things. It can be from family, money, your drive for success, your willingness to you know, just sacrifice yourself in whatever capacity that's needed in order to get to the goal, to get to the vision, to get to the win, right? But it's about the source. Like what is your why, as they would say? Like what makes you move? What makes you want to wake up every morning and give it all you got? What makes you put in those extra hours when everybody might be sleeping, right? What makes you really sacrifice the time, the energy, the efforts, no matter what's going on around you? You know what I'm saying? And so that's something that's extremely big and beneficial, because if you want to succeed, if you want to win, if you want to achieve anything in life, it's going to take some motivation, right? Because there's going to be times that are going to come up where you're just not going to feel like it. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be moments that are going to come up where you just don't have the energy, or you don't want to, you don't have the will, right? And that motivation kicks in, and you're connected to the right source that's going to light the switch up for you. You know what I'm saying? It's just like a light switch. Turn the light switch on. If it's connected to the right source, the light comes on, you got light. You know what I'm saying? And so same thing with motivation, right? If you're connected to the right source and you have the right things that are really influencing you, intrinsic motivation, that's exactly what it is. You know what I'm saying? Having that intrinsic motivation. You have to understand with intrinsic motivation too, it's not about a physical thing. It's about the way that you feel on the inside when you're doing something, when you're really staying engaged and locked into something that you know is going to be beneficial to yourself and to somebody else. And that's a key thing, right? Because a lot of times people can get motivated by physical things, but when it's not there, that extrinsic thing is not there, what's going to motivate you now? Like if that person that you really usually try to put your energy in, if they ain't, you know what I'm saying, if they ain't motivated, and if they ain't really, you know what I'm saying, amping you up, now what you going to do, right? But if you have intrinsic motivation and you're just focusing on that inner self, the value that it brings to really push yourself forward, just because you know it's going to benefit somebody else and benefit you at the same time, that's what you need, right? And we can go on and on about intrinsic motivation. That's one of the topics that I love. I actually got a book on that too. You know what I'm saying? My book's behind me. Hey, this book right here, you know what I'm saying? Daniel Pink, Drive, Intrinsic Motivation, if y'all want to learn about that. Anyway, next one, right? Last one here, man, strengthening your self-discipline. That's episode 44. So putting discipline into practice is the only way to build on the benefits, right? And I remember this particular episode because I remember talking about how with building discipline, it's just like when you in the gym and you wanted to build your jump shot, or when you this for a stupid picture book. Come on, man, dog. It got words in it, bro. Don't do me like that. Hey, but you know, it's like when you in the gym or when you're on the field and you training, right? In order to strengthen your self-discipline, it has to be something that you put into practice. It has to be something that you continuously work on day in and day out, right? You got to form them
Got to
habits,
form
right?
them habits.
You can't say you're going to be disciplined and you don't do anything that allows you to be disciplined. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to do certain things that's going to create those habits, whether it's, you know, fasting, you know what I'm saying? Or taking something out of your diet, whether it's getting up at a certain time and going to sleep at a certain time, just doing small things to really just build that habit. And then as you build that habit and as you form that habit, now you can start focusing on other areas. You know what I'm saying? You got to build a foundation, right? It takes the foundation of doing disciplined things in order for you to get to bigger and better things, right? Because once you start doing the small things right, now you can start focusing on the bigger things. You know what I'm saying? So strengthening your self-discipline, that was episode 44. And that was my 3.
Hit
Yes,
us
sir.
with the
So what's the
impact, man. We
impact?
can
As
move
the
on
year
to the
begins
next
to
segment.
come to a close, it's important to recognize the actions that helped you win and distractions that got in the way, right? You want to see both of them. You want to see the actions that helped you win, and you definitely want to see the distractions that got in the way. Obviously, you want to eliminate the distractions, and you want to take all the wins and everything that positively affected you, take it into the next year as we take it into this last slide.
Bet. So the last slide is starting off fresh. And basically we had like a little 1-word challenge, right? Said we each pick 1 word to describe how we will approach the new year, right? So I'll let Sed go first, and then I'll say mine, and
No doubt.
then we can go
So
into the
my
final thoughts.
words going into the and we also encourage everybody else to do this as well too, man. So after we get off this live, yeah,
Or even
drop it
if
in the
you
chat. Do
got
that
one,
too.
drop it in the chat.
But take 1 word that can describe how you want to approach the new year, right? Because what that does, it gives you a centralized focus of what actions need to be carried out that define whatever that word is, right? So anytime that you feel like you're slacking or you're not giving the energy and the effort that you need to, that 1 word that you established at the beginning of the year should be the word that really just ignites you and kind of just refocuses you to put in the necessary actions that have to take place to get to wherever it is that you're going, right? So my 1 word was relentless. And what defines relentless is not easing or slackening, maintaining speed, vigor, etc., showing or promising no abatement or severity, intensity, or strength. Evolving, I like that one. So just simply put, not stopping, right? Like really, really just focusing on continuously moving forward, maintaining my stride, my intensity, my strength, my pace, and not allowing distractions or anything else to deter me. Staying focused, being intentional. I love that one as well too. We're gonna work on being intentional. You know what I'm saying?
Evolving
But
and
really
intentional.
just staying focused on what the end goal is, right? And really just being relentless. You know what I'm saying? And when I think about relentless, I think about like athletes. You know what I'm saying? I think about
That's funny that you say that, because I was about to say, to bring this full circle, the first
relentless.
book that I
Yeah,
read was
absolutely.
Relentless by Tim Grover. That was literally the very first book that I read of the 10 that I
Yeah.
did. So just bringing
You
it
know what
full
I'm
circle,
saying?
and that was about athletes, like,
All the
about MJ
guys.
and the D Waves and the cleaners, the closers,
that.
and
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, but with being relentless, you look at people like your guy rest his soul, but your Kobe Bryant, you know what I'm saying? You look at your MJ, you look at LeBron, you know what I'm saying? You look at a lot of these athletes who just have a certain aura about them, you know what I'm saying? And it takes a lot of drive, it takes a lot of dedication to be considered one of the greats. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter who you put as number 1, who you say is the best, but even to be in that conversation, to have your name mentioned as being one of the greats. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of relentlessness in order to be in that category and to have that.
And I just seen a video on Instagram. It was an AI, Allen Iverson, right? And the guy was basically asking him about like the reputation with like not showing up to practice or something like that, right? And he was like that, like, so you didn't really have like a issue with like showing up to practice. And AI was like, no, I did have an issue with showing up to practice. And dude was like, why? And he was like, well, shit, sometimes I just be tired. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't want to go. And the dude was like, oh, you know, like that ain't acceptable. You know what I mean? You're a professional athlete, you know, this, that, and the third type shit. And he was like, I wouldn't know Kobe Bryant. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, that's what separated him from a whole lot of guys, including myself. This is coming from AI, right? And that just goes to show you, AI is considered one of the, you know what I mean, one of the best point guards for sure. Don't got no hardware, unfortunately. But AI might have said that, but he didn't say that in this interview, though. I'm going to try to post it if I can. Yeah. But he basically was saying, what I pulled from that and attached it to what you was just saying, said is, you know, just your talent ain't gonna get you there. It don't matter how good you are naturally. It's gonna require work, additional work. You know what I mean? And the only way to really get there is to be relentless. You know what I mean? To be dedicated. Which I'm gonna get to in a second. You know what I'm saying? But very important.
Absolutely.
So,
but yeah, man, you hit the nail on the coffin, man. It takes a different type of person, right? Like everybody can't do what you do. You know what I'm saying? So that at the end of the day, the results are going to show. It's going to be like, oh, you was doing what? You was waking up when? You was putting in how many hours? Okay, I see where you at, where you at right now. Like you've been putting in work. You know what I'm saying? You've been working hard.
And the crazy thing is they don't normally see that, and people think it was an overnight success, right?
Right.
And like I said, overnight success takes 10 years.
Stuff you don't see. You know what I'm saying? But when things start to happen and you start seeing results, and that individual speaks about certain things, you're like, oh, so he been doing this or she been doing this for a while. Like this ain't no overnight thing, and it just pop up. It's like it took a lot of thought, a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of energy, all those types of things. And it's just starting to manifest. But when it's behind the scenes, you have to be relentless, because being relentless also goes into integrity, right? Like you can't cheat the process and expect to get the results at the end. It don't work like that. Like when nobody's watching you, you have to be relentless. Like you have to be willing to put in that effort and put in that energy, no matter if the camera's on you or not, or no matter who's in your corner saying, oh man, yeah, you can do it, bro. Like keep going, keep putting in the effort. No, sometimes you don't have that, or you may not have it at all. But when you don't, you got to be relentless. You know what I'm saying? You got to show up every day, day in, day out, put in the work. You know what I'm saying? Focus on the end goal, and then the results going to speak for themselves.
Yeah. So continuing on with that, right? My one word was dedicated, right? And so dedicated, devoted to a task or purpose, having a single-minded loyalty or integrity. And to me, going into this new year and my approach, right, is I just want to be dedicated, right? Make sure that I'm devoted to my purpose, right? Walking in my purpose, and you know, staying devoted to the goals that I set and doing what's necessary, right? Being relentless, really, and really combining the two, being relentlessly dedicated. You know what I mean?
That's to keep it thorough word. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, but being dedicated, right?
Relentlessly dedicated to keep it thorough. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's the tag now. But yeah, just being dedicated, man. And what that really just means to me, right, is caring, right? Caring about the results, right? Like caring about my effort. You know what I mean? Like, and caring, and then it's a whole nother level, right? And I think a lot of us have children that are, you know, on the live, right? And, you know, caring about the example I set, you know what I mean? And all of those. And in order to ensure that I successfully set that right example and achieve these goals, it requires dedication, right? So dedicated. I'm going to this new year dedicated as ever, you know? So yeah, go and hit us with the final thought.
So final thought, each day given is another day to go after every goal that you've set. if there's breath in your lungs and activity within your limbs, you can keep pressing forward. The past will remind you of where you came from, but starting fresh will allow you to execute the plan of where you're going, right? And so, you know, as the year comes to a close, with every experience that you had going throughout the year, it was beneficial for you, whether it was good, whether it was bad, right? And I look at situations a little differently from a lot of people, because I can be going through one of the worst situations. What's going with the church? I can look at, you know what I'm saying, one of the worst situations and really try to find some good out of it, right? And that goes into the whole idea of gratitude. You know what I'm saying? If I'm here, if I'm alive, this is an opportunity for me. I'm thankful just to be alive and be present and be in the moment. I've got every limb of mine working. You know what I'm saying? So if there's a situation that I have to endure or that I have to go through, well, shoot, I'm gonna figure it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna see how I can make this thing work in my favor, or what is there for me to learn from, and what can I grasp from it. And when I do get that information, I pocket it. You know what I'm saying? Because I look at things like this. For every situation that I go through and I get through, there's going to be somebody else that's going through something maybe similar to it, if not the exact same thing. And if I take myself out of that situation too early, or if I'm not willing to endure and go through it, what ends up happening is that person who may have needed that blessing or needed to have that conversation or hear those words from me, they won't be able to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Because I couldn't take it. I didn't want to continue to go through it or experience that. But I look at every experience in that token. It's like, okay, I got to learn something from this. I got to figure it out. I got to see what strategy I utilize in this moment that allowed me to get through it. That way it can be beneficial to somebody else in the future. You know what I'm saying? And so I encourage everybody to do that. You know what I'm saying? Look at your year, where you failed at, where you had your successes. You know what I'm saying? Know what you did right, know what you did wrong. You know, and obviously going into the new year, really focus your attention on the things that you did well and improving in those areas. But look to bless somebody as well too. You know what I'm saying? Whatever platform that you have, whether it's on social media, whether it's in your work environment, whether it's people that you talk to, friends, whatever the case may be, allow your good times and your bad times to be beneficial, not only for your growth, but for somebody else's as well too. And that's my 2 cents.
Hey, and be real with yourself too when you look back on the year, right? Like,
Oh yeah, for sure.
hold yourself accountable, because that's very important. And with lack of accountability, it's very hard to be successful in a lot of those other things that we talk about. So just be real with yourself. And I know it's human nature to not want to, you know, see yourself in a negative light or hear bad things about yourself or whatever the case may be. But
Ego.
try to separate the words
Right.
from your feelings, right? Try not to be emotional, you know, like try to just, you know, take the criticism or, you know, when you're doing it, you know, evaluating yourself, you know, I think writing things down sometimes helps, right? And just be real. Where am I struggling? Where could I do better? Like, oh, I could do better with budgeting. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not as comfortable with my money as I should be, or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? But just be real with yourself, because that accountability matters. And I think that's important, you know, to set that tone going into the new year, right? And it don't got to start January 1st. It can start right now. It can start right now, December 15th, 2022 at 8:15 p.m. You know what I'm saying? Like, you do not have to wait. A lot of the things me and Seth are talking about that we want to do, it's already in motion. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of carrying over into the new year. And then I'm sure new things will come, right? As we accomplish goals and we go into goal stacking, which was another episode we did, you know. But yeah, man, I've enjoyed every week with my brother, man.
We didn't talk
mad
to
love
each
and
other
respect for
like
Cedric.
every week for almost a whole year. Well, for a whole year. You know what I'm saying? For over a year.
Well, no, for over a year. For over a year. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like my brother didn't got
all love, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Through this, you know, and it's You know, I learned I could
Hey,
tolerate it today.
likewise, bro. You know what I'm saying? Ain't got no issues. You know what I'm saying? We keep this thing going. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Absolutely.
hey, no, but in all serious though, man, I appreciate him. I appreciate y'all, everybody that tunes in live, that goes back and watches the episodes. We've heard a lot of very, very positive things about this and what we're doing. You know, people share with their friends, and we not right now. To be honest with y'all, even though it's been a year, this is still very beginning stages for what we building, right? We not doing no advertising or promoting or pushing this or nothing. You know, it's just been real all organic up until this point. You know what I'm saying? And we got a lot of big things coming, you know, from the merch, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of other, you know, very big things coming for our personal brands, that align, you know, to this, to our overall purpose and everything else that we're working towards. And we want to bring as many of y'all on that journey with us, you know what I mean, as possible. You know what I'm saying? And this is going to continue to grow. I'm gonna just tell you that, you know what I mean? Just know that this is going to continue to grow, and these are beginning stages. So when, you know, you go back and you look like, damn, you know what I mean? And that already happens to a certain extent for new people who go back and see a year's worth of content. But it's only going to get bigger, man. It's only going to get better. And again, we appreciate y'all. Thank you. Leading with gratitude. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go ahead and let you hit him with something said.
Nah,
you
I
got
really ain't
something.
got nothing, man. But I just echo. I will echo what you said, man. Like it's been really dope having the opportunity to do this. And we've always told the story about how Keep It Thorough even came about. And we can, I don't know. And
So we can tell it again, though.
To be real with you, you know, I remember when you called me, I was in my backyard playing with Carter, and you was telling me, hey man, I got this idea. I want to do it. I want to do it a live, do something. I feel like I'm not adding enough value. I want to give more value. And you told me what you looking for. You said you gave me the idea. I want to do something where it's like on a day, and the name kind of round goes with the day. I know you do your branding and stuff, so I'm mimicking. I'm probably mimicking your voice all wrong, but I'm just saying I'm doing a terrible job at it, I'm sure.
Terrible
You know
job, but it's the content's
just
there.
for context purpose. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, came up with Keep It Thorough idea. You know what I'm saying? And this is one of my best, you know what I'm saying, best ideas as far as brand names, right? Came up with Keep It Thorough idea. Obviously, that went with the Thursday, Keep It Thorough Thursday, Kit, all the creativity and the things that happen with that. You know what I'm saying? And it just, I was from there.
It's just crazy how quickly it happened, man. I probably called Said last year with this idea, probably end of October, early November, something like that. You know what I mean? Told him the idea, and it stemmed from me not feeling like I was doing enough. You know what I mean? I'm not perfect. I don't got it all figured out, but I've had some successes in my life, and I wanted to share. You know what I mean? I wanted to share information. I wanted to learn. I wanted to create an environment. You said what?
Yeah.
Be beneficial, right? And that was really kind of where it stemmed from. Said, as I've mentioned a billion times, is a branding and marketing genius. So like, I mean that. And you know, genius ain't no light word. I really honestly feel like if given the right opportunities, like if a big brand came to say, he really could, you know what I mean, create a branding and marketing strategy for them that would be extremely successful. Like, he really liked that. So reached out to him regarding that. He came up with a few different names. Keep It Thorough definitely stood out the most. And then I did what I do, right? I'm good with tech, you know, got the logos made up, you know, went through that process, brought Set in on that. We got the logo created, and the rest is history, man. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, hey,
yeah, man,
super excited.
A lot of good
That's
stuff
all I can say.
on the way.
We
website, merch, podcast later on down the line. But as he said, man, these are just the beginning stages of what we're creating. And Keep It Thorough aligns with both of our personal brands, which you all will start seeing more of very, very soon. I just want my hat and shirt. We got you. Don't you worry. We make sure we take care of you all. But yeah, you know, even our personal brands, right? And I've been somewhat quiet on what I've built, what Eric and I rather have built and created with my situation. And so I'm excited about that as well too, going into the new year and how these things are going to really start to manifest and make more sense from a branding and a marketing perspective, but really most importantly from an impact perspective, right? And we don't want it
Exactly.
to ever get confused. You know what I'm saying? When we talk about business, when we talk about branding, when we talk about marketing, obviously we're both business-minded individuals, but the most important thing that we always focus on is impact, is value. You know what I'm saying? And so when you hear that,
You say keep that guard.
but you know,
I got you, bro.
it's all about value. You know what I'm saying? And how we can be of benefit to everybody. You know what I'm saying? And so we appreciate you all for tuning in weekly, going back to the live streams and revisiting those, interacting with the content, and all those great things, man. None of those things go unnoticed. You know, we're just excited about 2023. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, absolutely, man. So, hey, great episode. We will not be back next week. It's crazy not doing that because we've literally
bro, I need a
done
break
it
from you, dog.
for a year straight. 52.
You know what I'm saying?
50, bro, I know, right? Right. But we got a lot going on, man. We gotta spend time with our families.
Hey, shout out to our wives too.
We gotta,
man.
you know, kind of recalibrate.
You know what I'm saying? I want to say that.
Charge
too. Shout out to our wives, bro. You know what I'm saying? Allowing us to talk as often as we do. You know.
He said, "Kidding, man. Hey, no, you do got to keep your guard up. I thought I was doing a good job, but I'm gonna go back and watch." Hey, but hey, it's all love, bro. But hey, we're gonna end it as always, man. If you don't do nothing else, keep it thorough, and we'll be back at y'all top of the year. But blessings to y'all, peace, love, success, health, wealth, all that good stuff. Hey, and I want to say this too before we end. With what happened with the news from Twitch. Is Twitch? Am I saying his name right? I feel like I'm not saying his name right. Yeah. Man, if you battling with mental health, if you battling, you know, you want to talk to somebody, whatever the case may be. Obviously, I'm here, said here, whatever the case may be, but reach out to a professional, get some help. Very important. Man's mental health is extremely important. I think the rate of suicide is like 80% in men, and we make like 49% of, you know what I mean, the population. So it's definitely something that affects man. And, you know, as Black men, we got additional traumas that we dealing with, you know what I mean? So if y'all want to talk to somebody, and if you feel like somebody is, you know, not in the right spot and you just don't want to bother them or whatever the case may be, hey, it's better for you to bother them and talk about it and get it out there versus this person doing something to themselves where you can't talk to them. You know what I mean? So that man was going through, to do that. Yeah, it's crazy, man. But hey, that's been kind of sticking with me a little bit. You know what I mean? So I wanted to make sure that I said that. You know, if you're dealing with mental health, please take care of yourself. But hey, we'll holler at y'all top of the year, man. Love y'all. Those